We are T-minus 2 weeks away from WNBA All-Star break, so it's only fitting that we take some time to reflect and appreciate some of the highest IQ passes, reads, and play calls from the first 2 months of the 2025 season. Let's take it all the way back to week 1, game 1, when Caitlin Clark threw this gorgeous bounce pass to a cutting Lexi Hall for a layup. But the thing to be impressed with here is the quick recognition from Clark to notice Rachel Banham's hips are facing outwards towards the basket, which is an invitation for a layup pass that is also perfectly thrown in stride. Clark might already be the gold standard for making this type of read out of pick and roll. I mean, I don't even know what to call this type of pick and roll pass. The anticipation to recognize that Natasha Howard will be open if she rolls to the basket, but also recognizing that Nia Coffey will have to turn her back to the play in order to catch up to Natasha Howard is what makes the read so brilliant and the pass even better. Exploiting openings when defenders have their backs turned to the play is a strong indicator of court mapping and high IQ awareness. Brittany Sykes is running the floor in transition here and sees Lindsay Allen's back turned to the play, pointing for a defender to pick up Sonia Citron in the corner, which invites Sykes to throw this pass to Jade Melbourne to attack a startled and out of position Allen for an open layup. Azurá Stevens actually made a similar read in the inaugural week of the season. Notice how Jessica Shepard has her hips pointed outwards and towards the baseline here, so a gorgeous thread the needle bounce pass gets Hamby a good look right under the basket. And notice how close this pass is to hitting Shepard's foot. Just a perfect in-stride bounce pass for a layup assist. Who said big man can't pass? Show yourself. Touch passes are also a thing of beauty because there's no time to actually process what's happening in the moment. It's all about anticipation and court mapping before the ball actually gets to you. Take this play from the Mercury Lynx game from early June, where a Kayla McBride rebound ignites a fast break opportunity. Alanna Smith is a much faster player than Kalani Brown, so by running the floor, she gives her team a brief 2-on-1 opportunity. Natisha Heidemann throws this pass a little too high, but it's okay because Smith just mosses the 6'4" Satu Sabally and touch passes this over to Jessica Shepard for a layup. Just an amazing highlight of quick processing speed from one of the best centers in the league. And she's not the only Lynx big with amazingly good IQ. Napheesa Collier actually performed a similar rendition except from the post. After she gets the smaller Jordan Canada switched onto her, the Dream are trying to deny this entry pass by having this corner defender Alicia Gray cheat over to deny the pass. Alanna Smith throws this pass anyways, but it's a bit too high, so Fee just touch passes it over to Bridget Carlton, who is now wide open because Alicia Gray went to double the post. And folks, that's what I call a 3 the genius way. Of course, touch passes also look nice in offensive rebounding opportunities. Watch Jade Melbourne crash in for an O rebound opportunity, but she also spots the streaking Shakira Austin wide open under the basket, so why not touch pass it over to her for an easy layup? Hopefully she got a rebound and assist for that mastery. This one is off a jump ball where Kennedy Burke has time to identify the matchups before the ball goes live and realizes, if I tip this ball into the backcourt, then that means it'll be a foot race between Clark and my teammate Natasha Cloud. I trust my teammate to win that foot race, so when the ball goes live, she volleyball spikes it into the backcourt. Cloud runs it down, and it's an easy 2 points down on the other end. And to wrap up the touch pass segment, we're staying in Gamebridge, where Lexi Hall comes off this staggered pin down pretty wide open. But the pass forces her to turn her body away from the basket, and with the lengthy Sanaya Rivers in the vicinity to also make a play, why not touch pass it to the corner to punish the help defense? It's a little off, but the assist still counts nonetheless. I'm sure this won't be the last time we see Lexi in this montage. Of course, it wouldn't be a smartest play segment without the skip passes, so how about this thing of beauty by Erica Wheeler, who is able to force a switch, dragging Fee out to the perimeter and leaving the smaller Bridget Carlton on Ezzy in the post. But Courtney Williams is creeping all the way over from the opposite block, and with the 6'2" Collier all up in her grill, how about a two-handed skip pass from corner to corner on the menu?
What?
Of course, her teammate Nneka Ogwumike is also one of the best passers in the league, only this skip pass is from the post. Watch how she turns her pivot foot twice before whipping this dart to the corner off platform and with Stewie and Cloud in her face. Sometimes these passes can serve as connective tissue instead. The Liberty are in scramble mode here, so Chelsea Gray whips this skip pass to the corner because Sabrina had to leave Jewell Loyd to close out to her. And CG throws these type of passes on a regular, oftentimes skipping the simple pass to a closer teammate to make a "what did I just see" type of skip read to a tighter window. A window that, in this case, is so tight that it actually goes under Sabrina's leg as she tries to kick it. That's what I call a foolproof play. Another characteristic good passers share is manipulation. So watch how Natasha Cloud fakes this swing pass to Kennedy Burke to fool Michaela Onyenwere into closing out there. Chelsea Gray made a similar read against the Mystics, only this one in transition. Gray faking a look to the corner actually causes the rookie Sonia Citron to relax and not pick up the streaking Asia Wilson in transition. And it might be the pass that's even more impressive here because it's soft and floats just over the outstretched hand of Sonia. I'd call that a drop in the basket. Chelsea actually did the same pass 2 weeks ago as well, catching another rookie, Anissa Morrow, lacking in just her 12th game as a pro. I think the coolest thing about watching Chelsea Gray pass is how often she makes these forensic level reads. This time she looks to the corner to bait Fee into closing out to Jewell Loyd instead of the real intended target, Tiffany Mitchell. Her court mapping ability means even in idle situations, she'll punish defenders who are even a half inch out of position. Pause for a minute and guess which defender is out of position. If you said Erica Wheeler, then you're right, because when Gray whips this no-look pass to the corner, a startled Wheeler now has to close out there, and Jewell Loyd can just two dribbles her way into the paint. Only the play doesn't end here because Skylar Diggins says, "Anything you can do, I can do too," and whips a no-look pass to the corner the moment the aces don't get matched up. Paige Beckers did a similar trick against the Lynx back in May. This is just her third game in the league, and even when Dallas is about to run pick and roll, she spots the strong side corner defender Natisha Heidemann not close enough to Arike in the corner, so she whips this bullet feed right before the screen is set and splash. Back in May, Brittany Sykes did the same thing against the Valks zone defense. Watch how she looks as if she's going to throw this lob past the Citron coming off a flare screen, but the pass is actually meant for Dolson, who is now open under the basket because Kayla Thornton was tracking Brittany's eyes. Sometimes the best time to make these type of genius reads are when the defense is scrambling. This is an over-the-head pass from Chelsea Gray, throwing to an open Jackie Young, who is so wide open because Sanaya Rivers has to provide help in the paint, or else this would have been a layup. A heads-up defensive read, but an even smarter play by Gray, who is frankly taking over this episode right now. Let's take a minute to really appreciate some of the best defensive reads of the season so far, starting with this no-look deflection by Azrae Stevens, who realizes in real time that the layup pass to Monique Billings is a legitimate threat, so she gets an arm up in the way of Billings' hands, almost like how defensive backs in football are taught to guard receivers, only there's no penalty for not getting turned around here. Of course, it's only right that the Valks' big Temi Fagbenle return the favor against another team, the Mercury, with this no-look deflection and swipe away against Satu Sabali. Skylar Diggins actually did a very similar thing against the Dallas Wings. she gets caught up on this flare screen here, so she just throws her hands up in the air in hopes of deflecting the ball before it gets to Ogunbowale, and in this case, it actually touches Arike before it goes out of bounds. Alyssa Thomas also deserves an honorable shout out for this trick, baiting the young JC Sheldon into throwing this bounce pass to Anissa Morrow, setting this up by stunting like she's going to take a charge and then sliding back to nab a steal. Of course, we then have this beauty of a play from Lexi Hall, who sets up Monique Billings here with a no-look charge. And I'm not sure if I've ever seen or should expect any player but Lexi to set a charge on someone sprinting in transition without the ball. But I guess this makes sense since she does lead the league in charges. And my vote for smartest defensive play of the year so far goes to Natasha Cloud for this legit 1 through 5 level sequence against the Valkyries. She's matched up with Julie Van Loo here, and then Peel switches onto the bigger Temi Fagbenle, and for a brief second, Sabrina Ionescu gets caught ball watching here, and her assignment Stephanie Talbot baseline cuts for what looks like a layup, but Cloud peels off Temi in the post to defend any potential laydown pass, then slides back over to Temi to get a deflection before she can go up with the shot. And this play takes a second look in real time to appreciate Cloud's cerebralness to make so many genius decisions all in a tenth of a second, all while guarding someone twice your size in the post. Truly a one-of-one defensive play and player. You know, I've been playing chess casually since I was around 9 years old, and it's always fun when I look at basketball games and see the chess match happening live on the court. It requires knowing your moves, but also your opponent's moves and being 10 or 20 steps ahead of them. This is a transition opportunity where Chicago has a problem with the smaller Haley Van Lith matched up with two-time MVP Breanna Stewart. Elizabeth Williams wants to scram switch this the second Stewie heads to the post, so Natasha Cloud just whips a quick dart to Maureen Johannes, who is now wide open since the Sky tried to scram, and you can see HVL just clap her hands in disgust, knowing she just got put on a Josh Felton YouTube video. I'm just kidding, that's probably not what she was thinking, but you know who was thinking that? Gabby Williams, because this time it's her and Chelsea Gray in a late game chess match of defense versus offensive IQ. Gabby knows the aces want to run this little shuffle screen to get Asia posted up on a small guard, so she stays with Asia to front the post until Ezzy can recover. Once she recovers, the aces just run spread pick and roll with Asia to induce the same objective, but Seattle's guards Skylar and Wheeler botch the scram switch, so Gabby, being the high IQ player that she is, creeps in the paint to cover up the mistake, but you can't fool the point guard because she just flings this no-look skip pass to the corner, which was Gabby's assignment, now left open because she had to cover her teammate's mistake. Just a masterful 20-second blitz game that was so good, I'm tempted to just call it a draw. And to wrap it all up, we have to talk about the screens and miscellaneous sequences that were just too good to leave off. We all know the Atlanta Dream have the best defensive backcourt in the WNBA between Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, and they'll almost always switch any screening actions between them because of how big and versatile they are for their position. You can see how seamlessly they switch this corner pin down against the Liberty in their Commissioner's Cup game. So on this play with Gray picking up Paige Beckers in the backcourt, that means Ryan is matched up with JJ Quinterly. JJ in this case knows Ryan and AG will be communicating a switch, so rather than sprinting the half court to set a screen, she fakes it by tapping Gray's hip, fooling her into thinking the contact was going to be for a screen, and Gray, expecting Ryan to switch onto JJ, is confused when Ryan doesn't actually switch because, well, a screen wasn't actually set. What it does do is give Paige Beckers a straight line drive to the basket where she can drive and kick to an open shooter, which was all set up by this mind the game ghost screen by JJQ that was actually a sequence JJ Redick and LeBron deemed as one of the hardest actions to guard on their podcast last year.
Let's say we are in a switch defensively. We're in a switch. If the guy slips on a ghost screen, my job is to go with him.
Yeah, call square.
Right?
Square,
Right.
slip.
But offensive players, as they're running up into the screen, they tap the guy on the hip. So you're supposed to switch on contact. When you feel the contact, you think it's a switch.
Yeah,
now the ball
and
handler
I'll
goes.
open up and
I'm doing my job because he slipped, so I'm going with him. That's why it's hard.
That's why it's hard.
In real time, it's like, yeah, we can have all these rules, but then you gotta do it in real time.
That's why the NBA is the best league in the world.
Another screening action brought up in the same exact episode was the Gortat screen, where the roller screens his or her own defender to clear up a driving lane for the ball handler. Only Jessica Shepard does it here in transition, and on teams like the Liberty where the guards play off ball a lot, we see Sabrina Ionescu do this for Stewie all the time. But I don't think I've ever seen a no-look screen like Barine Johannes does for Breanna Stewart, turning her back to the play and not alerting Jackie Young that a screen on her teammate Chelsea Gray was coming, and without a big in the paint to stop it, it's an easy layup. And if this sequence looks familiar, then it's because Arike Ogunbowale actually did the same exact thing against the Fever about a week ago. The Wings have a sideline out of bounds with only 1 second left on the shot clock, so Arike tells Natasha Smith, hey, I'm going to Gortat screen for you to get a good look at the basket. And that's exactly what happens. This is a perfect inbounds play from Paige to get it to her, and not even a minute later, we get another Arike masterclass. She tells JJQ to slow it down for one shot, and you can see Lexi Hall is trying to deny her the ball. So Arike just Aaron Donald bull rushes Lexi into JJQ's defender Sophie Cunningham, and it's the same result. Hopefully Arike got 2 screen assists registered in the box score. Atlanta forward Naz Hillman also did a similar thing against Washington, telling BG to clear to the corner so she can set up this Gortat flip screen to get Jordan Canada downhill for a layup. And hopefully somewhere in Poland, Marcin Gortat is smiling, knowing his legacy lives on. This play isn't a screen, but rather a backdoor cut by Lexi Hall that was set up because Sabrina Ionescu changes her coverage on Hall to deny her the dribble handoff, which of course exposes the baseline cut, something Hall has mastered. And I'm not sure if this point to the top of the key to get the ball to Caitlin was intentional or not, but I'm giving her bonus points for creativity. Of course, some genius plays are just a matter of reading the energy of the game and adjusting accordingly. Paige tells Arike to slow it down after it looks like she was about to try her luck in a 2-on-4 fast break, and watch how Coach Koklanis tells Paige to get the ball back and bring up Louisa to set a screen for her, and instead of forcing the pocket pass, Paige throws it to the wing and trusts Hines Allen to make the connective pass with a better angle, forcing the Aces to call a timeout. This clutch late game sequence from Natisha Heidemann also deserves a shout out. Watch how she backs off her man to give McBride space to split this screen and nab a steal. Phoenix then tries to foul Heidemann, but nobody calls it, so with the defense behind the play, she gives the ball up to her Twitch streaming partner Courtney Williams, relocates to the corner just to get it right back and drains a game-winning 3 to cap off an unbelievable comeback. And our last play of this glorious montage of brilliance belongs to Asia Wilson and the Aces, where it's a designated play for her to get the ball at the top of the key with space to attack downhill to her left. Kiki Iriafen does a good job walling her off and forcing a spin back middle into a double team, but Asia's just too good and makes this pass to a cutting Jackie Young, even with a defender's hands on the ball. So 10 seconds later, with the game on the line, they run the same play again. This time the Mystics send help off the corner. Asia makes Sika Kone and the Mystics pay with a nice pass to Jewel Lloyd in the corner for the game winner, capping off a 12-point comeback in front of the home crowd. Remember to check out my previous videos from this season by subscribing and to turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Give me a follow on Twitter and Blue Sky as well to join a further discussion on women's hoops. And as always, thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.